Okay, so I'm gonna try and do this real quick. This is like my fourth take. The last one came out to like 11 minutes. So first thing I do, you'll notice I have a lot more than 16 tracks from the original stems here. First thing I do, take every stem, turn it into stereo. Bam. Don't even think about it. Just make them stereo. Because you can always pan them hard center like over here, and that's just a mono track. So I'm gonna skip the drum kit for now. I mean, I did this in a super hurry. It's not really great. So the way, like for example, with the bass, it was one stem, but in my mix, it's actually four mono. Uh, Basically, it'd be the equivalent of having four bass stems. So I want your standard, good, uh, sort of a heavy anchor bass in the middle there. But when I brought in the rest of the guitars, it just wasn't strong enough. I couldn't really get a good. I don't know. It was missing something that would tell me that those are bass notes being played. So I duplicated the track, did a whole bunch of stuff to it, and came up with this sounding track, which you might not really pick up on well. But if I go between them, you can hear this is much sort of more low and rumbly. Whereas this one, I'm kind of accentuating. I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I'm bringing out the sort of picking, the sounds of fingers on strings. I can actually just push it a little bit here. In my VMR, what am I up to? A bunch of my secret bass stuff. And then I'm actually just taking the whole bass track and I'm just kind of squashing it. Because I don't want it going away too far. This isn't a super dynamic track. So what that does is basically now my bass panning is locked the hell in because of this. By the time it hits here, you'll notice I've also got it pull in a little bit at the mix down, which I rarely do, but with this, it makes sense. So let's guitars. We were talking about guitars. The way I approach a mix like this is, like I said, first I'll have them all, they're all mono turned stereo. So that just naturally seems centered. That goes there too. Now here's where things change, because suddenly we go from kind of where we're gonna have our sort of rooted guitar sounds, and actually, you know what? Those go back out there. These come back in, and the reason for that is this track has much more there's more fundamental harmonic. It's more of an anchor. It's got fuller chords, lower notes. So this one is going to be in my center pan, and then this one is going to be giving me kind of the little textury, slightly higher, more clangy, and ignore the tone on this stuff, like it's all fracked up. So that just kind of popped, and actually I would probably trim it a bit. Ooh, I like that. Right there. And then when I got to here, this is literally how I go through. I take a section, I make sure the stems are going to be the ones I want to work on, and then solo my way through. I got to here, and with these two mandolin tracks, if you listen to them both at once, I mean, this is just a damn mess. Like, this is an absolute mess. And if you were to go like this, now you just have, I don't even want to hear that. So what I would do is I just go through and I would take this here, take it from dead center, and and then just slowly work each side out. And there'll be a point where it'll just kind of suddenly pop and mesh in. And they don't have to be perfectly balanced. Oh, yeah. See right there, I want that to be coming through. And then over here, if I bring more of this in the center, that's just kind of going to get lost in the jumble of this guitar over here. Like, that's too much going on for that space. So because I already have this mandolin kind of tilted over to the left, I want this one to be tilted a bit more right. So I'll start with moving it to the right. And then right about here, yep, boom, 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 I can start picking out notes. And then I just want it to balance so that those notes over there aren't like dragging you. You know, you don't want the effect of being dragged around the stage. So now let's add in, what is this? Oh yeah, this is just that horrible ringing thing. You know what I would do with this track? Don't need it. It's that's a shit stem. Keep that one. This is just kind of a default throw, whatever. And then just let that fill itself in. And then when we add the bass, something is distorting at my mix bus or something somewhere. I'm not really sure what, but that's what happens when you do this in like way too much of a rush. Let me bring MD9 over here so you can see the what am I mixing guitar. So yeah, this is you can see I'm actually doing all those tracks. They're first hitting a tape EMU, then they're hitting some actually 2 EQs and a comp. They're hitting an SSL channel. They're hitting this again, working in mid-side mode. They're hitting CLA3A, and then big, super important thing for working with guitars, mandolin, actually with everything, is learning how to use de-essers in weird ways. Very important, very important. And then this, even here on MD9, you can see I actually kind of futz with these pans. I usually leave my mixed down pans alone. Let's see, how am I doing on time now? We're approaching, okay, I'm going to try to finish up now real quick. So, vocals. That's obviously in the center. Then we have the backing box, which usually you would throw out right, left, you know. But for me, that just, it didn't gel enough. So even if I kicked in the verb, it wasn't working for me. So first thing I do is put it in the middle with the other Vox. And then just start. Ooh, wait. Right there. Okay. Can we go looking? I actually kind of like that. And then it's okay for these to be a little unbalanced because first off, that's the way backing vocals are inherently going to be a little weird. And then your verb is going to save your, you know, a lot of that. We've got mid-side going on here, so I can actually accentuate I can increase the level of the, you know, that stuff, and then have this one kind of be reined in by the comp, which is a very useful technique. Again, it makes your panning just kind of basically means the sides are going to move a little bit without unhinging. So that's really what I would say is your mix is very static and it's very overly balanced. You know, you don't want that. It's not natural. I mean, if you look at my panning knobs, they're a fucking mess. But if you go see any live concert, you know, put 2 decibel meters at each ear, they're gonna be all over the damn place. And then where you need to really gel together is when you get to your mix downs, And then, you know, ultimately when you get to here in your final... Oh, I have this fucking thing on. That's why it was sounding weird. And then to check, you want insight. And just look at your sound field and your correlation. This is super important. That's super important. I'm actually going to do a separate video on that. Alright, the end.